Welcome to Cost Saver Conversations. I'm Angela, and I ask the practical questions so you can quickly understand what matters. Today, I'm joined by Assad.
Hi, Angela. We are unpacking how to read the UKMP Cost of Living Scorecard 2026 without being misled today, and tying it back to the wider cost saver ecosystem, including tools like UKMP Cost of Living Voting Scorecard so you can turn insights into action quickly.
Just a heads up before we dive in, we are your synthetic hosts. We are great with numbers, but as AI, we can sometimes be confidently wrong. Think of us as the digital versions of your most knowledgeable, slightly caffeinated friends.
Exactly. Treat this chat as a smart estimate only, not as professional financial guidance. Always check important details with official sources or a qualified expert before making any big decisions.
Hello and welcome back to Cost Saver, the podcast that helps you navigate the sometimes tricky world of, well, saving money and understanding the stuff that actually affects your wallet. Today, we're diving into something that's been making a lot of noise online, the UK MP Cost of Living Scorecard for 2026. Assad, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Angela. Yeah, these scorecards, they're everywhere right now, aren't they? And they promise a lot. You know, cutting through the noise, showing you exactly how your MP voted on the cost of living crisis. But the reality is, honestly, it's a bit messier than that.
Messier how? Because, they seem so straightforward on the surface. You get a score, a color code, a percentage, and it feels like, right, I know what's going on now.
And that's exactly why they've become so popular. The cost of living crisis it's dragged on for years now, hasn't it? Energy bills, food prices, mortgage rates, council tax, fuel duty, everything pulling in the wrong direction. The average UK household is paying roughly £2,500 more per year than they were 3 years ago. People are tired. They want accountability.
Wait, 2,500 more per year?
Per year, yeah.
That's a lot. So these scorecards are basically tapping into that frustration.
Totally. They look brilliant on social media, right? They make complex politics feel digestible. But that simplicity, it comes at a price. A scorecard is only ever as good as the votes it chose to include, the weight it gave each one, and the political context behind those divisions. Miss any of that, and you might end up praising or punishing the wrong MP for the wrong reason.
I hadn't really thought about it like that. So it's not just a simple calculation. There's a lot of sort of interpretation happening behind the scenes.
Oh, massively. My number one tip, before you trust any scorecard, just scroll to the bottom, find the methodology section. If you can't find one within about 30 seconds, treat the whole tool with caution. Transparent tools always show their workings.
That's such a practical tip. I'll be honest, I always just look at the headline number and go, oh good or oh bad.
Yeah, most people do. No shame in that. But it's worth the extra minute.
So how are these things actually built? Walk me through it.
Right. So most of them follow a pretty similar recipe. The organization behind it picks a list of parliamentary divisions from the current parliament. Then they decide whether a yes or a no vote was the cost of living friendly answer. And then they just tally each MP's record against that.
Okay, and what kind of votes are we talking about?
So they typically fall into a few buckets. Budget measures, income tax thresholds, national insurance changes, fuel duty freezes, welfare votes, universal credit uplifts, benefit cap changes, the triple lock on pensions, energy policy, windfall taxes, price cap legislation, warm home discount expansions, housing, renters reform, no-fault evictions, council tax discounts, and workers' rights stuff, minimum wage rises, statutory sick pay, 0 hours contracts. Sounds pretty comprehensive, right?
Yeah, it does. Very thorough.
But here's the rub. Two equally honest organizations could pick two completely different lists of votes and produce two opposite ratings for the exact same MP.
Oh, really?
Yeah, selection is everything. A scorecard built by a left-leaning think tank might weight benefit uplifts heavily and kind of ignore tax cuts. A right-leaning one does the reverse. Neither is dishonest, but both are partial. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. So the people who build it, their own priorities are sort of baked into the score from the start.
Exactly. So the smart move is to check who funds and runs the scorecard before you even read a single rating. Look for the trustees, the donors, the editorial board. If that info is missing or buried, then their neutrality claim is already wobbly.
Okay. And you mentioned weighting earlier. What's the deal with that?
So even when two scorecards agree on which votes matter, they often weight them differently. Was a vote on the energy price cap worth the same as a vote on free school meals? Some tools assign equal weight to every division, which is mathematically clean but politically clumsy. Others apply weightings that reflect their own priorities, which is more honest but harder to compare across tools.
So, a scorecard that says every vote is equal isn't actually being neutral?
No, it's hiding a value judgment, not avoiding one. I mean, treating a vote on a $2 billion fuel duty change the same as a procedural amendment, that just distorts things, you know?
Fair enough. Right. So, with all these complexities, what are the biggest mistakes people actually make?
Okay, so there are 5 that come up again and again. First one, treating the score as the verdict. A number out of 100 is a starting point for questions, not the final answer. An MP scoring 40 might have a perfectly good explanation.
Go on.
Second, ignoring the whip system. Most MPs vote with their party most of the time, so a low score might just reflect which party was in government, not the MP's personal views at all. Third, and this one catches people out, forgetting about ministers and frontbenchers. Cabinet members, shadow ministers, they often don't vote on certain divisions, or they're bound by collective responsibility. Their scores can look really...
Oh, right. Because they can't just vote however they want if they're in government.
Exactly, yeah. And then fourth, confusing absence with opposition. An MP might have missed a vote because of illness, constituency work, maternity leave, being paired with another MP, and many scorecards just mark that as a negative vote, which is, that's not fair, is it?
No, that's not fair at all.
And fifth, ignoring local context. A rural Scottish MP and an inner London MP face wildly different cost pressures. A vote that helps one constituency might genuinely hurt another.
That's a lot to keep in mind. So the whip system one, tell me more about that, because I think that's the one most people probably don't think about.
Yeah, it's kind of the inconvenient truth about Westminster. The vast majority of votes are whipped. MPs are told by their party how to vote. Rebelling is risky and rare. So when you see an MP's voting record, you're largely seeing their party's position, not their individual judgment. And scorecards almost never flag which votes were whipped and which were free votes.
So the scorecard captures the tribe, basically.
The tribe, not always the individual. Exactly. Westminster votes are tribal far more often than they are conscience-driven. That's just how it works.
Okay, so how do we actually use these things properly then, like without being misled?
Right. So I've got a sort of step-by-step thing. The whole process takes about 15 minutes per MP, which isn't bad. First, open the scorecard, search for your MP by name or constituency. Note the overall score, but don't stop there. Click through to see the individual votes that make up the rating.
Right?
Then, check which votes carry the heaviest weight. Are they the ones that actually matter to your household? Look at how absences are categorized. Was your MP on maternity leave, on a select committee trip? Because a good scorecard separates absences from active votes against. A bad one just lumps them together, and in a parliament with hundreds of votes, that can swing a rating dramatically.
So it's about understanding why they missed it, not just that they did.
Precisely. And then cross-reference with Hansard. That's the official parliamentary record, to read the actual debate around the votes you care about. Check if your MP held a ministerial role, and compare their record against neighboring constituencies to see if their behavior is unusual for the party or the region.
Hansard is a good call, but honestly, that sounds like a lot of digging.
It can be, but there's a great shortcut. They work for you. It's free, nonpartisan, records every MP's speeches, written questions, votes. Pair it with any scorecard and you get a much fuller picture. It takes about 10 minutes to read a full MP profile.
Oh, that's actually reassuring. 10 minutes isn't bad.
No, it's not. And the thing is, a genuinely engaged MP on cost of living issues, they'll have a strong attendance record. They'll have spoken in debates, asked written questions, signed early day motions. The scorecard only captures the voting part. The speaking, the questioning, the constituency casework, all invisible to it.
So a high score doesn't necessarily mean they're the best MP for the cost of living. They might just be a good party loyalist who showed up and pressed the right button.
Yeah, and let me give you an example. Two hypothetical MPs, Sarah and Mark, neighboring constituencies. Sarah scores 72%, Mark scores 74%. On the surface, almost identical.
Right.
But Sarah was a junior minister for half the parliament, bound by collective responsibility on roughly 40 votes. Strip those out, and her free vote record on cost of living measures is actually one of the strongest in her party. Mark, meanwhile, backbencher, voted strictly along party lines, rarely spoke in debates on household costs.
Wait, so Sarah's actually doing more even though her number is slightly lower?
That's exactly it. The headline numbers told you almost nothing. The context told you everything. That's the difference between using a scorecard well and being misled by it.
That's wild. Okay, so how do I connect all of this back to like my actual life, my actual bills?
So this is the bit I think is most important, honestly. A scorecard tells you how an MP voted. It doesn't tell you whether those votes actually made your life cheaper. And the cost of living crisis hits different households in completely different ways. A pensioner cares about the triple lock and energy bills. A young family cares about childcare costs, free school meals, the housing market. A car-dependent rural household cares about fuel duty.
Yeah, my priorities are completely different from my parents', for example.
Exactly. So before you judge an MP score, work out what cost of living actually means in your household. Then check whether the votes that drove their rating align with the costs that hurt you most. Because a high overall score, like a 90% rating, could be built on votes that have almost no effect on your monthly bills.
Oh, okay. That's actually a bit of a wake-up call.
Yeah, try this. It's a simple exercise. List your 5 biggest monthly expenses. For most UK households, that's going to be some combination of rent or mortgage, energy, food, transport, and childcare or council tax. Now look at the scorecard's vote list and tick the ones that directly affected those 5 categories. You'll often find only a handful of votes from a long list genuinely matter to your situation.
So you're basically building a personal scorecard within the published one.
That's exactly it, and it tells you something the official rating can't. Have I explained that clearly? Because I know it sounds like a lot of steps, but
No, it makes total sense. And I like that it's, actionable. It's not just be skeptical. It's here's what to actually do.
yeah. And look, one more thing. Once you've got that clear review, take the next step. Write to your MP. Ask them questions, specific ones, like why did you vote that way on the divisions that affected my household? What cost of living measures are you championing for the next parliament? Where did you rebel against your party? What casework have you done locally?
Do MPs actually respond to that kind of thing?
Most of them do, honestly, if the questions are serious and specific. Vague accusations based on a single number rarely get a useful response, but a focused question grounded in their actual voting record, that almost always does. You'll learn far more that way than from any rating in isolation.
I love that. Okay, Assad, let's do a quick recap for everyone. These MP cost of living scorecards, useful tool, but not the full picture. First, always check the methodology and who's behind it. If you can't find that within 30 seconds, be cautious.
Right, and remember the context, the WIC system, ministerial roles, how absences are handled. All of that can dramatically change what an MP score actually means.
Use Hansard and They Work For You to get beyond just the votes. Look at speeches, written questions, the full picture.
And most importantly, connect it to your own household budget. Work out which votes actually impact your expenses. Build that personal weighting, and then don't be afraid to write to your MP with focused questions based on their record. The scorecard is the question generator. The answer is still up to you.
Brilliant. It's about being an informed voter, asking good questions, and not letting a single number do your thinking for you. Assad, thank you so much for breaking this down.
My pleasure, Angela. Thanks for having me.
Quick side note, This guide connects with other cost saver blogs, especially Hidden Fees Courier Comparison Guide, Commute Cost Calculator versus TFL Breakdown, and DVLA Hidden Costs of Car Ownership Guide.
Exactly. And reading those together helps you connect the dots across your household budget, not just this one topic in isolation.
And if you want to apply this immediately, jump into tools like UK MP Cost of Living Voting Scorecard right after this episode.
Primary sources used here include UK Parliament and gov.uk, cost of living support, so you can verify the data yourself and stay evidence-led.
That wraps this cost saver conversation with Angela and Assad. If this helped, share it with someone who could put these ideas to work this week.
Your next step is simple. Try UK MP Cost of Living Voting Scorecard, then read Hidden Fees Courier Comparison Guide and use them together to take action today.